All right, as promised, the science fiction video. And I think I have top 11 for this as well. Some more caveats. Some of these might be classified as fantasy by some people, and they're just classified by sci-fi by me because I wanted to. Um, they felt more science fiction to me, and sometimes it's a feeling. Genres are used best for marketing and helping you find the right book, and for me, if these were marketed this way, it would help me pick them up. But it's subjective. It's fine. It's my list, my channel, my rules, and we're going to go through them 11 to 1, and we're going to talk about some great books. Number 11 is The City Inside. This came out this year. This is really quality anti-dystopian science fiction. Takes place 10 to 30 years from now in India, and it's about a high surveillance government state and these two individuals who work for vloggers, so they're influencer adjacent people. They're very privileged. The system doesn't hurt them, but they do not like the current system. They remember what it used to be. And they are in their 20s and 30s, I believe. And it's not about rebellion itself. It's about getting to rebellion. And I really like the literary writing style. I think this is one worth trying out if you like how writing can feel in your brain. I don't know if that's a good way of describing it, but if you like certain ways people write sentences and you think that this one might have that attribute for you, feel like it has a unique voiciness, try it out. That's something that I really liked about it. The first chapter kind of goes through our main character's average Sunday with her family and the anxiety that comes with a Sunday, and I was like, relatable. So this feels like it fits more of what I like in literary fiction than it does what I like in science fiction, but it has all the hallmarks of a science fiction dystopian. Number 10 is my favorite Nnedi Okorafor, that is Noir. This one was a pleasant surprise because nobody I follow was having more than a 3.5 star experience with it, and this is my favorite Nnedi Okorafor. And I think part of it is because it is not as a breakneck pace as a lot of her other works, but also I think I just really like the mixed media-ness of it. I like that these two characters got to get to know each other. So what's it about? We have this augmented individual. She's augmented because of a lot of her disabilities. These augments allow her to exist, but it also gets her ostracized by a lot of people. And so at the start of this book, her village now thinks that she's done something wrong and she needs to run away. And so we're following her run away, but we also get flashbacks to her past. We get a little look into some podcasts because we're looking at this world and how we got to this place where we have these cyclones in the desert. Because this takes place in Northern Africa. I'm forgetting the country. It might be Nigeria, but I don't want to commit to that. But we are near more of a herding region for a lot of this story, because then she meets a herder who's also been ostracized by his community, and we learn why, and they get to know each other. And then it kind of has the energy that I like in science fiction near future stories where it's let's just burn the capitalism. And I like that. I like burning the capitalism sometimes. It's cathartic. So I really enjoyed a lot of the elements in this. I also really like the cover. I think about buying it quite a bit because I just love its warm yellow-brown features. I like looking at it. I listened and read this at the same time. I immersion read it. I know a lot of people have had mixed experiences just doing the audiobook. I think it's confusing. I liked the audiobook, but I also had the visual cues to tell me when chapter breaks were happening and when it was a different type of media. Number 9 is The Last Contista. This is one of those rare middle grades that make it on my list. This was a delight. This is about a young woman and her family who get to leave Earth to try and find another planet because we've messed up Earth. Classic sci-fi premise. And when she goes into cryosleep, something is not right. And when she wakes up, no one she knows is around. The status quo of the ship is completely different. They're not on a planet that they should be, and she needs to figure out what's happened and how do I get out of this situation. And it's tense. This is a very tense, high-stakes middle grade, and I really enjoyed it. And I love that our main character is really good at botany and science, chemistry, but at her heart, she's a storyteller. That resonates with me, and she's Latina. And you get these flashbacks to her relating to her grandmother where she learned a lot of the stories from. It's a beautiful story. Highly recommend the audiobook. The physical book is adorable. There's a reason it won the Newbery, and that's why it's number 9 on my list. Number 8 is Goliath, and I will scream about Goliath until the end of time because it is underrated. Literally, even when it gets rated, people give it a very low score. Which is fair. It is not for everyone, but I think it's actually doing exactly what it wants to do, and it was really enjoyable for me once I realized what it was doing. On my first read, like I say, I almost DNF'd it. Didn't want to finish it. It was one of my first reads of the year, and I'm like, this is so much work. Oh my God. And then I got like 2/3 of the way through, and I was like, oh my goodness, what's happening? I finished the book, and then in a week got a physical copy and reread it and annotated it. Because then suddenly all the pieces fell into place, and I understood the community I was following, and I understood the purpose of this book. It's one of those books that's just so fun to dissect. So if you don't like doing that with your reading, which is fair, like there's a time and a place for challenging reads, and there's a time and a place to not. But for me, this is like my type of challenging, dense science fiction that I love picking apart, and I still haven't seen everything. Tochi Onibuchi is too smart for me. Like, he is intelligent, and he's using all of his $10 words in this book, okay? So, that all said, I still really liked it, and I don't always like to work this hard when I read, but the payoff was just there for me. I do have a review if you want more thoughts, and I'm always willing to talk about it. We do have a Discord chat in my Discord. If you ever want to chat about it, buddy read it, all those things. Number 7 is Strange Beasts of China. This is one of those, Angela, isn't this fantasy? Isn't this magical realism? I don't know. For me, it feels like noir cyberpunk sci-fi. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's how it felt to me, okay? And yes, it's about monsters, and monsters are maybe more fantasy, maybe more urban fantasy, but in my head, we were really analyzing society and the anthropology, the zoology of these monsters in a way that felt science fiction. And I don't know. I wanted to put it here. It's how it works. I really liked this book. By the time you're seeing this, I will have had the live discussion on Tammy's channel, which is the only reason I even knew this book existed. And wow. I had a great time. This was tailor-made for me. I don't know who this is for or who will like this. It's very episodic. Each chapter is very contained, looking at a specific monster and its interactions with our main character, who is a journalist. She writes in the column of a newspaper. I think her column is usually foods she eats. I don't even think it's related to monsters, but she does write books as a novelist about monsters. And you kind of feel this meta arc over all these episodic things that doesn't pay off to the end, which is my favorite type of narrative format for episodic TV. So I really like that in the book. It reminded me of books I loved, like The Last Wish and The Best of All Possible Worlds. And so that's why it's here. I read a chapter of it a day for a week, and it was lovely. So this is definitely here because of the strong memories I have with it. I don't know if it will stay here. There's definitely some recency bias, but all these lists are biased, so I'm just going to lean into it. Number 6 is Symbiosis. And maybe this one should be higher, because I just spent 10 minutes talking about it for a Patreon video, and at first I thought, do I like the ending of this book? And I still think it's not perfect. I still think the falling action's a bit quick for me, but I have very few complaints about everything else. And it's not perfect per se, but it's ambitious in what it's doing, and I appreciate that ambition, and I had a lot of fun reading it. This is another one of those more episodic stories where each chapter is a different character from a different generation of these people who come to a new planet to start a new life. And it's their interaction with this new ecology of the planet and other sentient life. And each chapter, every character feels unique. Their troubles and trials are unique. The society's evolution is fascinating to explore. It's fascinating to see how technology devolves and evolves when you have different resources to work with. The interaction with the sentient life is both terrifying and fascinating and awesome. It is all of those things. I love so much about this. And I really want to read the sequel, because this is my perfect blend of thinky, enjoyable science fiction. The thought experiment, the generational time jumps, the conversations that are being had, also laced with tension. It's everything I wanted Xenogenesis and Children of Time to be, blended together and shorter. It was really great. So that's why it's this high on the list. Number 5 is another book that people are probably going to be like, but Angela, it's fantasy. And this one I actually think is science fiction, or at least it's genre blendy in the way that all Jemison are, and it deserves to be on science fiction more than fantasy for me, and that's The World We Make. It's all genres, first of all, but there's a lot of multi-dimensional stuff that I associate firmly with science fiction, okay? That's all I'll say without getting spoilery into the exposition dumps that you might enjoy while reading this series. I do have a should you read for it. This was really fun. I love Jemison prose. I love these characters. I love the thought experiment of what if cities collapsed into a singularity and were represented by avatars. Yes. I love that thought experiment. I loved meeting other cities. You get to do more of that in this book. I wish it was longer. I wish this wasn't Jemison's pandemic book. I wish the United States wasn't so messed up, and that's, bleeds into this book. There's a lot of things I wish, but I still had a really fun time. It still met my expectations. And yeah, I'll point you to that Should You Reads if you want more thoughts. Number 4 is also a Jemison, and this is Far Sector. This is a graphic novel, and I want to read all graphic novels that are like this one. So if you have any recommendations, drop them down below. This was so fun. It had Jemison's world building, it had her prose, and it had gorgeous art, and I'm a DC fan who loves Green Lantern, so it had a great take on Green Lantern. We follow Joe, who's on this planet that hasn't had, like, any disputes or murder for, like, hundreds of years. And no one has emotions. They all turn off their emotions genetically for reasons. It's how they stop these 3 alien species from fighting. These 3 alien species are really cool to explore in this graphic novel. And Joe's trying to figure out who murdered this person, while she is the only person with emotions. And it's such a fascinating exploration of this society, commentary on what we do in our society when we handle civil unrest. It's great, and since it's done in kind of a noir style, you still get that, like, internal monologue that Jemison does just expertly, in my opinion. This was phenomenal. Like, I can't recommend it more than I already have. I just had such a great time consuming this, and this was, like, my first graphic novel in a very long time. And I just kept wanting to read it, and I kept wanting more like this after I finished it, and I just feel like I still haven't found it, if that makes sense. Like, just that balance of world building and character connection, I think is hard for me to find as engaging in other graphic novels. But I know that's more of a matter of finding the right one. I've barely read any. Number 3 is The Past is Red by Catherine M. Valente. This is one of the best novellas I've read in a really long time. We have Tetley, who lives on a trash island. This is where now people can only live on trash on Earth. There is no land. I think maybe the tip of the Himalayas still exist. And she loves her world and her island. She really loves where she lives, but everyone hates her. And you learn in the story why. And a lot of my love for this is the world building. It's also how it feels kind of like this witch in her cabin telling a story, kind of fairy tale vibes in a sci-fi climate setting. And I also just love her internal optimism. Tetley has a really strong voice. And I think when I get depressed, I can think about Tetley's "we have enough to survive here. Why are we striving for what was? We can't get to what was from here, but we can be here." And I think that's a valuable sentiment. Obviously we shouldn't stop fighting. We shouldn't stop trying things from declining further, but I think it's a valid sentiment to appreciate where you are. I mean, regardless of what context, right? Like, that's just a strong thematic message. And I really got that from Tetley this year. I will say, if you are not from the United States, it has a lot of reference to brands in the United States because of the trash heap. This is an American trash heap. So for me, it didn't matter because I don't read those words anyways. But I know for a lot of people, they were like, what is this thing? That sort of thing. So just know that going in. And now number 2, 1 and 2 again were hard. Like, if you watch my fantasy video, I struggled and I flippity-flopped. And I think this one's actually solid. Number 2 is The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez. I really love this. I really like Simon Jimenez. I need more books. I need more books. The Vanished Birds I have a review for. This is a hard story to describe, but it's definitely influenced by a lot of classic sci-fi. There's definitely feelings of Asimov. There's feelings of Hyperion, but not the writing style. The writing style is lyrical and lush and transportive in a way that those classics really aren't for me. But it has a lot of those thematic and trope underpinnings. We have a mutation that gives someone a power. We have these kind of short stories, an epistolary chapter, like in Hyperion. We have a lot of those influences here. And we start on a planet where we have these people who we see them live through generations while a ship keeps coming to visit them. And the ship never ages because of how space travel works. When you travel, you lose time. Everyone ages around you, but you go through time differently on the spaceship. And so we see how this affects this one man on this planet. And then we see this ship and this found family dynamic that is formed when they take in this child. And then we see the role of capitalism when we try to take advantage of a gift someone has. And we get flashbacks to this individual who is invaluable in her ability to bring us to space, but also what that cost her. There's so much in such a short amount of time. It's one of my favorite things. I really want to reread it. I had emotions. I am not a crier when it comes to reading, but this one, my heart ached a lot. Like there was a lot of just like, I don't know, that pressure while I was reading this, because I was very invested, I was very close, and things were really hard at times. I highly recommend it, though. It's just a phenomenal, great sci-fi. Like, it is science fiction, but it is done in a way that is both familiar and completely different from anything you've ever seen. And number one is Light from Uncommon Stars. And, again, what genre should this have gone in? I don't know. I put it here, but it's speculative. It could be anywhere. But I put it here because there are aliens. And that felt like a good enough reason. This is a story I love. I get why some people are like, this shouldn't have been here, or this was frivolous, or I didn't like these. Whatever. I get it. It's not perfect for everyone. It's perfect for me. Absolutely perfect for me. Everything people want to remove, I'm like, no. It stays right there. That's where it needs to be for me and my emotional impact. Thank you. This is a story of a trans woman, Katrina. She runs away from home, and she is a violin prodigy, and she stumbles into this mentor. And this mentor figure has made a Faustian deal with the devil. And so she has to give 7 souls to the devil, and she's already given 6. And her next prodigy would be the next soul. And this is all done eyes wide open. They make the deal with her, with the devil. Like, it's not like she tricks them into it. And she finds Katrina, and that's going to be her next prodigy. But it's also this amazing found family dynamic. And also on the sideline, this mentor starts having a crush on the owner of this donut shop, who is an alien from another planet. They are refugees from their life situation. And it's about these alien refugees starting a donut shop in California and figuring out how they fit into society like many refugees and going through their own cultural transitions and issues. There's a daughter who is sentient but not organic, and how that plays out. There are just so many elements and things, and how it gets interwoven is perfect for me, and I had so many feelings. I read this so quickly, but I still think about it. It wasn't one of those I read quickly and it left my brain. No, I read it quickly and it stays with me. And I want to reread the ending, listening to the song, because there's a music competition element that is masterful. And yeah, the sense of place is really strong. You can tell it takes place in the author's hometown. The author's a poet, and I can feel that in the words. I liked it. I like how it's not pretentious about music. This is about music being impactful, music being emotionally affecting. It's not about being amazing at the greats or the classics. I mean, that's still good. That's still considered valuable, but it's also about how impactful video game music can be. I love this. I really do. I could think about it, talk about it, read it all the time. Maybe I should just reread it. Like, that's what's so hard about talking about all your favorites in these past 2 videos. Like, all I want to do is reread them. That's all I want to do. Do I have the time? No, I don't have the time. But that's it for this one. If you want to leave an emoji, leave a spaceship. That feels reasonable. Let me know your favorites of the year. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.